Hey guys, and welcome back to my review of the finale of the 6th season of The 100. Now this was a pretty good season, a pretty stellar one. I did like it all in all. It was pretty decent. Sometimes it did feel a little bit rushed, but all in all it's pretty good. Now it's not my favorite arc of all the arcs that we got to watch on the series. My favorite would be the City of Light arc. My favorite would be season 4 all the way to the finale of the season. But this one though is most definitely a close second for me. Now yeah, I'm supposed to be reviewing the finale. I'm going to be doing that in a moment. But I'm going to start off by addressing the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is all about that announcement that they made a couple of days ago. You know, season 7, that's going to be the final season of the series. Now I'm going to read more about this, but if that were to be the decision of the producers, I'm thinking over here that's a good thing, because in the end, producers usually want more seasons because that means more money and whatnot. But in the end, if they make this decision, they're basically telling us we're wrapping up our story. This is where we want to stop. And that's a good thing because that means that they don't want to overstay their welcome, they want to give us good closure, and they don't want to end it on a bad note, like a lot of series do that. You know, they give us great earlier seasons and then they end up ending it all on crap, like the final seasons of those series end up sucking badly. So yeah, be it the producers, be it the CW network, they're gonna end on a very good note because they know in advance that they are ending. They're gonna plan ahead, they're gonna make a good final season, they're gonna write for it in a way that's gonna give me, give you, the kind of closure that all of us want. Sadly though, I did think that this series had a few more seasons in it, even though at this moment I'm thinking quality over quantity and substance over form. But okay though, the finale of the season, we've got multiple arcs going down on this finale. We've got the one on board of the ship, we've got the standoff from last week's episode, the very end of the episode. Gaia is the bargaining chip that the Primes use against Indra, so quite the expected outcome over there. Lay down your weapons. Paige Turco is pretty good in the portrayal of the role as Simone. I do prefer the original Simone though. I mean, she was better acted indeed. We've got Russell's order to sail for Planet Beta, a 20-year ride he calls it. So I'm guessing one of the other 4 and a total of 5 Aegis colonies mentioned at the beginning of the season. You know, the ones that Clarke and team found out about early on in the events of the season on the premiere. So yeah, they're sailing to Moon Beta or Planet Beta, whatever it is, because Sanctum apparently was a moon. But there's also mention of the remaining 3, Gamma, Delta, and Epsilon, and that makes Sanctum Planet Alpha. Now the next thing we've got over here is Maddie ordering attack, leading to a lot of people dead. Clarke knocking out Maddie was a pretty good move to save her. Clarke calling dibs on her as her next host to once again save her from the wrath of Russell and Simone. That was yet another good move. Gotta say here, Eliza Taylor with the changing facial expressions, you know, back and forth between Josie and Clarke. She's doing a pretty good job here. But moving on, things are heating up fast. Simone decides to kill the sleeping army, erase them all in their sleep. That way they're preserved until they need a new host. That's definitely our first sign. She is definitely Simone. There's no Abby in there. We also get to find out that Russell, when it comes to his family, does not make the same mistake 2 times in a row. So he did make sure that Abby is completely gone. Abby is completely ended and dead. Now it is that realization that her mother is not coming back and her unwillingness of course to kill all the sleepers that has her decide this is about the right time to actually reveal who I really am. I'm Clarke, not Josie anymore. But then there comes the believe it or not, I'm sorry for your loss. And that was pretty genuine by the way, a little bit of a reference as well to her on-off friendship with Josie while they were trying to deal with all the trouble in her mind space. But before all of that though, Clarke has already bought the rest of the team with her on the ship a little bit of time to save Maddie as well. There is the subtle reference there to the events of season 4, the suffering Raven went through then. Where did you learn to code like that? And Raven goes, the City of Light Community College. But we've got more information about Shade Hater. I mean, Indra did see him once in her entire life. He went from village to village, butchering anyone who refused to kneel, their families too. So yeah, that leads to her statement, we cannot let this creature command one crew, and Gaia goes, in return, if we fail, I'll take her life. But the thing about Gaia is though that she does care about Maddie more than she cares about the flame, more than she cares about the concept that this person is commander. But then there's the realization of Raven, there's a kill code, Becca does not mention that in her notes, I can kill it, but it will destroy the flame. It's making us choose. Now that's where the decision is left for Gaia. She does make a choice there, and the choice does prove what I just mentioned. You know, she does care about Maddie as a person more than she cares about her as a commander, and that's why she chooses kill the son of a bitch. But yeah though, so far so good, but here comes my first complaint about this episode, and possibly my only one. I do hate the twist of things going all crappy at that moment. I mean, very common twist, a bit silly, a bit stupid as well. Very stupid trope indeed. Oh, we are almost there, you know, we're seconds away, but then Russell pretty much pulls the plug. But yeah, there was the silly trope, there was also the Simone playing Clarke, that was sort of unexpected. She gets pretty convincing there for a moment, like I was almost convinced there, maybe she's been playing Russell all along. But then that's the perk of Paige Turcot having been playing Abby for so many years. But then one intimate question later, you know, what's the name of my father that does the job, that does tell Clarke that this is not her mother, this is Simone, and it's goodbye Simone from there, floated Simone, and except for Russell, the rest are the primes. But that's 2 out of 3 Lightborns, that's almost every single prime except for one. The remaining one, Russell, he's heading for a full-on breakdown, makes a whole lot of sense as well. He's been doing all of this for his family, more for his daughter as well. Now she's gone and he's yet to know about his wife having been gone as well, having been killed by Clarke, and he wants to exact revenge on Clarke for taking away Josephine. Now this is where you start thinking this guy is psychologically unstable. I mean, he's not just a villain, but he's killed Clarke, he's killed her mother, and now he wants revenge against Clarke for taking her own life back and for taking her body back. And even better, he thinks or believes that he is the victim over here. But Shadeheada though is still in there, he's taking control, he does claim that Maddie is dead, that Russell could strike a deal with him, that he's gonna give him the kind of revenge that's a lot sweeter than the one he has in mind. Killing the child is not it, you know, making Clarke suffer for it is not it when the child is already gone. But yeah though, long story short, Neil, if you wanna live, Lexa from Tree Crew said you were strong. As a mention that everyone probably liked about that scene is Clarke kneels before Maddie. Clarke tries to bring Maddie out, threatens to take her own life, threatens to pull the trigger on herself if Maddie doesn't resurface and take back control of her own body. So yeah, as I mentioned before, Clarke is gonna be the cure to suppress Shadeheada's control. But just like Russell though, he is suppressed, he wants to seek revenge upon Maddie, kill Maddie within, which is pretty much what he threatened to do a couple of episodes ago. But now the flame is gone as well, and out of Maddie, to save her life. No more kneeling, like Gaia did mention earlier in the events of the episode, not to Shadeheada, not to anyone. So no more commanders, but Shadeheada has found a place to go, found a way to upload himself elsewhere. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, we were all worried last week as viewers that they would end up tying all loose ends in a rushed fashion and kind of ruin it all. But in the end, they took out one major villain, the other major villain they managed to deal with in a smart fashion, that being Shadeheada. Like, okay, you know what, we're getting him out of Maddie, but he's still gonna be there. We're gonna see him later. But that having been said though, there's the other side of the story, you know, the part in Sanctum. We've got the guys back in Sanctum hiding in that container from last week, knocked out by gas, captured to be purified as non-believers, all of which just felt like fanatic religiousness and a little bit cultish. Lila's refusal to believe to start with, to, you know, admit that the primes are divine, that did end up costing her her life. Nathan and the rest of the team back in Sanctum are signaled by Bellamy, you know, to make the right decision, give the impression that they believe in the divinity of the primes. But before the round is made with them with the blood of Sanctum, which by the way is what the episode title refers to, along with the fact that a lot of the blood of Sanctum did get spilled, including that of the primes, we get both Murphy and Amori to the rescue. And we finally get a mention of Jordan, because it was kind of funny over the past few weeks. No one seems to remember Jordan, and then suddenly this week, everyone remembers all about Jordan, like where is Jordan? Let's find Jordan, let's take Jordan away and save him. And that's exactly what happens here. But moving on though, some of the best lines on this episode happen to be those of Octavia's. I mean, she understands what's going on there, the people have been told the truth, but it's about acceptance. If they accept it, would have all been for nothing, like their entire lives would mean nothing. And then she explains further with a little bit of a callback, that's why I burned the farm. You could sense right then and there that Bellamy is starting to lean towards full-on forgiveness of all that Octavia did. But yeah, that does come later though. I mean, Octavia's decision to help Gabriel save the people of Sanctum, That ends up being the moment that brings them as close as they've ever been before. So yeah, that's the moment that he forgives her fully, like side by side, like it's always meant to be. But Murphy, though, will always be Murphy. I mean, that's the beauty of the character of Murphy. He's not painted as this angel, this great guy. He's flawed as anyone else. He cares, but he doesn't show it. And then when he shows it, he only shows that kind of care towards his friends, but not to other people. And that's exactly where Emori kicks in. I mean, Emori is a good impact on none other than Murphy. So she makes the decision there, kind of forces his hand. Maybe it's time to do better. That's when they help Gabriel, that's when they end the entire threat. I did as well love a couple of things about that entire sequence. You've got Emori deciding to do what's right, that's something I loved. You've got Echo in action saving Murphy and Gabriel, who at that point are about to get burned down to a crisp because that's how Miranda feels. They're gonna purify Sanctum. We've got everyone getting in on the action. We've got Miranda, burning herself to a crisp for the glory and the grace of the Primes, and we've got Octavia trying to save her, and that's part of her being that all-new Octavia. That also falls under the explanation that Octavia gave earlier. If they believe, if they accept this, that means that their lives was for nothing. It would mean that everything they lived for, everything that they believed in, was just pure wrong. But yeah, though, the final thing about this arc is all about the writings that Gabriel notices on Octavia's back. It's called the Anomaly Stone. I've been studying it for 150 years. Now, he might not know what it means, that's what he states there, but Octavia kinda does. She believes it means that she's gotta go back into the anomaly in order to figure out what it means. You could also tell that it's probably motivated by her need to find Diyoza. I mean, Diyoza helped her, Diyoza kinda saved her, and now it's time to kind of pay her back, to kind of save her as well. But to join both arcs together, everyone is reunited, Jordan as good as new. There seems to be a happy ending for almost everyone, but we know there's a season 7, so there's gotta be a cliffhanger, and that's where it kicks in, or moments later, it kicks in. Now, Jordan hates that Priya was killed. Jordan is acting as a child since the beginning of all of this, believing the possibility that his first crush could make it back. So yeah, he's hating this, he wants to stay behind. Sanctum is not perfect, but these people had peace before we got here. Now, that was spoken like it was said by someone who, one, does believe that, he could bring that person back, or he could have brought that person back, that being Priya. 2, someone who's about to do something stupid, which is basically all about that chip that we did see in his own palm. And 3, the words of someone who does not understand what was going down there, or decided to just ignore the facts in order to, work it out his way. Because in the end, Jordan was the one who started yelling at Priya, like, "You're a liar, Delilah is not in there, you killed her, you are killers." Remember that episode when he started yelling at her? So this guy is motivated by the wrong kind of motivations. With that having been said, we finally got our cliffhanger, the third arc on this episode, and that arc is all about Octavia, the tattoo on her back, the entire thing about the anomaly. Now, the first thing that we see when it comes to that part of the episode is Bellamy, Echo, and Octavia on their way to the stone, along with Gabriel, all of them trying to figure out what's going on with that tattoo on her body. There's a place below the camp with the anomaly stone, one that Octavia touches, and the result is the anomaly expanding its realm of rain exponentially, like all over the place. Now, it was kind of obvious when Octavia stated that it all means that she should go back in, that she wanted to find Diyoza, and she did expect right there, okay, Diyoza is now gonna come through, only to get someone else, an all grown-up Hope, like a lot of people did expect. A lot of people did think that we're gonna see a young Hope already born and on her way out by the end of the season. So everyone except for me was quite right on that. I expected we're gonna see Diyoza, probably with Hope, but definitely Diyoza. Diyoza, though, is a prisoner of someone in there. He's got her, and that's why she's gotta stab Octavia. Like, this is gonna be either Octavia's arc or the arc next season with the Dark Commander. Alright, so there are 2 scenarios here. By the end of the season, Hope does fall unconscious in Gabriel's arms, and Octavia turns to dust or smoke, whatever you want to think of that. But we can all agree that she pretty much vanished out of Bellamy's arms. So yeah, she's in there, in the anomaly, trying to save Diyoza. I don't think she's dead. I think that the sole purpose of that knife was to pull her into that anomaly, and the anomaly would retreat once again to its original position, and that's basically how this all-new arc would start. So I think that next season everyone are going to pour their efforts towards getting Octavia back, and that's going to be all about getting into that anomaly, finding out that guy that's got Daviiz in there who could possibly be Shedheader, and that's exactly where we're going to find him. That would make for one arc all about the Dark Commander next season, all about Shedheader, but then there is the other possibility. Shedheader is gonna make an appearance, but not within the anomaly. That's gonna be outside the anomaly, and he's pretty much going to be one of two villains next season. The villain that they face on the outside, while there's another unknown villain within the anomaly. I think they're all connected. I think that Shedheader's got something to do with this, but I was still trying to present and offer all the options. But alright though, here comes the verdict. This finale with the cliffhanger, with the ending, with everything, I definitely give it a 10 out of 10. And that's on a 100 scale, where my favorite episode, my favorite finale before today was the finale of Season 4. Now I still prefer Season 4 over this season. I give this season a solid 9 out of 10, maybe a 9.5 on a second rewatch later on, but at this moment it's a solid 9 out of 10. That being said though, let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. Let me know what your theories are as to what's gonna go down next season. Who do you think is that guy that's got Daviiz on the inside of the anomaly, and why does Octavia know what to do in there? Like she does tell Hope, tell him it is done, so she knows what she's going into, what she's about to deal with, like she possibly remembered her first adventure within the anomaly. Let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it a much appreciated like, subscribing to this channel, and make sure while you're at it to enable notifications in order to get updates whenever I upload a new video, publish a new community post, or start a new live stream. But until the next time that you tune in for another one of my videos, the 100 or otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in to this review, and have a great day.